Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from DeltaCX.com. We're a full service UX and CX consultancy, and my dog is probably going to bark a bit because someone is coming by. Hi, sorry I had the wrong screen up at the beginning. I did not have the theme song queued up. I was in daydream land, but I'm happy to see everybody here for the live show. And today it is a micro lesson. So of course you'll find it later in the micro lessons playlist. And this one I am calling Customer Disaster Journey Maps. First, let me remind everybody quickly, if I can find the right screen buttons here, you can subscribe here on YouTube. And if you like the shows here, won't you please find 3 friends you can tell about it and have them subscribe too. It's not monetized. It's just to see more people hanging out here. And of course, our Slack channel is completely free. There's no memberships or anything. deltacx.link/join Slack. The tip jar is completely optional, but always appreciated. deltacx.link/tip. So let's jump in and talk about why I am talking about customer disaster journey maps. Now, many of you are familiar with customer journey maps. These are best done when we have done qualitative research like observational studies or interviews, and we know the customer's journey because we saw the customer's journey. And now we're going to map what's going on there, as well as some opportunities and insights that we see at various steps. Usually a customer journey map is the current state or the as-is state or the kind of the way things are now. Sometimes, especially in the CX world, a customer journey map might be a future state. What would this customer journey map look like when we made this better? It's kind of a cousin of the optimized task flow that we also have in the micro lessons playlist. But something that I once did at a job, which I'm going to share with you today, and I'm going to name names and everything. I ran into a conflict with product and engineering. There was something they were going to build that I thought was going to be a potential disaster for the customer. And again, so this wasn't a small battle to pick. This wasn't a font or some pixels or couldn't the button be over here. This was possibly a really negative experience for the customer. And I had a hard time persuading my team that they should invest the extra time to build something better. And every time I told them, the product manager said they didn't care, and engineering said, we don't feel like building that. We don't see the value. So I built what I'm now calling a customer disaster journey. It's a customer journey map that looks at a potential future state where you try to show what will it be like for the customer if they run into this possible or likely outcome of carnage and disaster. So again, you want to pick your battles here, but if you really need this, this worked for me. And I recently told another low ego action hero about it. She tried it and it worked for her. And then I thought, gee, maybe I should just tell everybody about it. Again, you might need to use it. It's in your arsenal, so call on it when necessary. So, now that you know that, let me give you the more complete backstory for the project. And of course, we're live. I'm taking questions. If you have any questions or thoughts about what I'm talking about, please ask them. So for the larger backstory, my disaster customer journey map was when I worked at Macy's. And because this has to do with a product that did go live, I'm comfortable talking about it openly. This was something that went live 4 or 5 years ago, so this should not be confidential in any way. Macy's was working on a subscription box for beauty, where for a certain amount of money per month, you would get a box of beauty-related samples. So it might be makeup and things that come from Macy's beauty department from different brands, where they've got little samples of things. The idea was then there was a website that would be built, and you could go back to the website and check out the things that you got in a certain month's box, and then there would be links that would lead you to buy the full-size product. So on the assumption that you got a sample, you liked the sample, now you're going to go buy the full-size one. And what I ran into was, take, for example, a lipstick. If you've ever bought lipstick or shopped for lipstick with somebody else who was buying lipstick, you may have noticed that there's a lot of lipsticks in a lot of colors, and sometimes the difference between these colors seems quite subtle. There's a small change in the shade, they give it a different name, and boom, it's another lipstick. So in some cases, a lipstick can come in 10, 20, 30, 40 shades, and sometimes the differences are very subtle. What I found in our process was the page that listed the samples didn't say what color we had sent the person. And when someone clicked on the link to go buy the full-size version, it dumped them on our standard page, our individual product page, sometimes called PDP, for that lipstick. But the default color for the lipstick wasn't the color we had sent the customer in the sample box. Are you with me? Is this story making sense? Hi, Charlene. Tell me, if you're listening live, tell me if this story is starting to make sense and if you kind of see what's coming. Because the idea is that if someone said, oh, this sample was great, I really like this lipstick, now I'm going to go back to the site and click on the link and find that exact lipstick. If they just clicked on that link and just placed their order, they would have ordered the wrong color because the page didn't recognize that someone was coming from the Beauty Box subscription, and the page was defaulting to some other color of lipstick. And when I tried to say that there was a potential for customer dissatisfaction here, the product manager said, no, of course the customer is going to know what color lipstick he or she got or they got, and they'll know what shade it is or what number it is. A lot of these have numbers, like, for those of you who aren't that into makeup, my concealer is Sephora, hashtag not sponsored, Sephora number 26. When I go to reorder it, I don't always remember it's number 26. I have to go pull out an empty bottle or something like that. So for those of you not familiar with those things, these colors have names, wacky names usually, and these colors have numbers. And product said, no, the customer's going to know what color they got, and they'll go to the page and they'll see that a different color came up on the page, and they'll change it to the right color and they'll order that. And I was like, well, what if they don't? And product was like, no, of course they will. So this is where customer disaster journey came into play. So what I chose to do was when you see it, you're going to be like, God, Deb, this is ugly. Yeah, I didn't bother making a pretty customer journey map. My thought at the time was, how fast can I talk these people out of this? I want to make sure that if people go from the Beauty Box page to the individual product page, that we show them the color we sent them and not some other color, and not hope that they're going to change this. So let me show you exactly what I sent, and we're going to walk through it a little bit, and I will voice act it and everything. So, okay, here you go. And of course, I made it in Axure because I make everything in Axure. And even today, I probably would have made it in Axure. I think I have some nicer looking customer journey map templates than this. Kayleen says, customer journey maps are typically used for hypothetical futures. Well, Kayleen, typically the customer journey map is a cousin of task analysis and jobs to be done. So typically a customer journey map is what the customer does now. It's supposed to be an end-to-end look at the customer's current process, or really their task, and each of their steps, with what they think at that time and how they feel at that time, as if we know how they feel, and some of our insights and opportunities. So in the CX world, CX does do future state customer journey maps, but they're usually not future state disasters. They're usually desired future state. They're usually well, here's our initial customer journey map of what the customer does now. And then here's our cousin of optimized task flow, future customer journey map or desired state. And this is what we think the customer journey map should look like once we build the thing or improve it or whatever the case may be. So as you can see on the screen, I started out with a disastrous customer journey, and I wrote, behold, the unhappy customer journey. Charlene says, everything beautiful and perfect journey. And the customer journey might not be everything beautiful and perfect. The future state will hopefully be beautiful and perfect. But obviously, in this case, I purposefully made the future disaster possibility. So step 1, customer gets a sample of Clinique's Long Last lipstick. We send her a sample of the Merlot color. So again, remember these colors have names and numbers. And I put a screenshot from the Macy's website of Clinique's lipstick with Merlot. Step 2, customer loves it. Decides when she gets to work, she'll order a full-size one. She doesn't remember which color she had, so she hits the beauty box page to see what was in the box this month. So again, I'm imagining the customer doesn't have the lipstick with her. She's surfing from work because the internet is faster at work and it's fun to take a break and do some shopping. So she's just going to go to the beauty box page and see what was in her box and follow the links from there. Kayleen says, I don't think it's ugly. It's readable and it works. Well, thank you. It's certainly not visually designed. So for step 2, I showed a screenshot from Macy's website for the exact same Clinique lipstick, but in a shade called Baby Kiss, which I thought was a creepy name, but it exists. So we sent the customer Merlot, but the page defaults to Baby Kiss. So if you just go to that page, by default, and if you don't change the color, you might buy Baby Kiss. And then I said, well, there's a possible other step 2. Step 2, customer loves it, decides when she gets to work, she'll order a full-size one. She never noticed what color this was. Some beauty products aren't making that detail easy to find, or they're using code numbers people might not remember. Like when I held up this Sephora thing, if this has a color name on it, I can't read it, but I can tell you it's 26. But if it's got a funky name like Debbie's Pale Ass, then I don't know. So moving on. Step 3. Now here I screenshot the Sephora website because even though we were Macy's, Sephora actually does this correctly. If you follow the link from Sephora's subscription beauty sample box of the month club, it does default to the color you got and not the first color in the list. So for my step 3 in the customer disaster journey, I said, customer assumes whatever color we showed her on the what's in this month's box screen is what we sent her. After all, when you hit Sephora's PDP after their what was in the box screen, they default to the color they sent you, no matter where it was among swatch choices. So the customer orders Baby Kiss. Remember, she wants Merlot. The customer orders Baby Kiss. The color Macy's defaults to must be the one we sent her in the beauty box. So the customer, again, when we think about some of the things we learned in task analysis in our micro lessons, we have a knowledge gap here. The customer may not know or remember the name or the number of the color she got. We don't really have tools or workarounds here, but we do have the customer's familiarity, hypothetically or possibly, with competitor sites that might behave a certain way. Either way, even if step 3 didn't exist, the point of this would still stand even without that. But of course, we run a higher risk that the customer makes an assumption about how our site works because of their pre-existing knowledge of other sites. Step 4, customer orders Baby Kiss. Customer receives Baby Kiss. Customer puts it on or compares it to the sample she got. It's not the same. What the fuck? Ugh, I don't need to deal with this crap today. I guess I'll call Macy's customer service and tell them they messed up after I post to Facebook and Twitter about how upset I am. And I have just a stock photo of a woman yelling into a phone. Step 5. Customer service is confused. So I have a stock photo of a bored-looking woman wearing a headset who supposedly is the customer service call center person that this person has bumped into. So customer service is confused. You ordered Baby Kiss. You got Baby Kiss. Where's the problem? That's not the sample you got in the beauty box? Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I have no way to know what was sent out in those boxes. No, I don't know why we would tell you the box had the baby kiss color if it had another color. You can bring it into the store and exchange it within 30 days. No, there's nothing else I can do for you here. It's best for you to go to the store to handle this. Hopefully you still have a local store. This was around the time Macy's was closing a lot of stores. Step 6. Can I speak to a manager? Angry customer. Oh, Nick is hearing this and dying. Hi, Nick. Step 6. Angry customer wastes her time going to the store to deal with this. She just wanted a lipstick. Stephanie says, hi, catching up. I'm a few minutes late. Baby kiss what? Nope, not a good name. So the customer just wanted a lipstick. Now she feels deceived by Macy's. We sent her a sample of one color, and then we sold her a full size of another color. So much frustration spelled wrong. So much time wasted. You know what? Take the lipstick back. Cancel the beauty box. You've sucked the life out of my week. Can I speak to a manager? Step 7. I imagined the customer is now going to post to Facebook and on the Macy's page. Step 7, deal with anger by venting on social media. Make sure everybody knows Macy's ruined your day. Marilyn, the customer, is mad, but the big loser is Macy's. We unnecessarily pissed off a customer by doing something we totally could have avoided doing. We burned phone support time. We burned store associate time. She could cancel her subscription. She might tell friends who might sympathize, empathize, or decide not to bother with Macy's new beauty box after hearing about their friend's ordeal. CX now has to struggle to make this detractor a promoter. Randy's here and says, preset form values are so well intended but can badly backfire even if the value is set from the customer's own decision last time. For example, shipping addresses may vary. Very true. And this kind of plays into when Larry talks about intelligent defaults. It would have been intelligent for the page to have defaulted to the color we sent this person already rather than what it defaults to in a vacuum. So I wrote, detractors represent a loss in $356 to $600 on average thanks to negative word of mouth. And then I mocked up a fake Facebook post where fake Marilyn Jones, our customer, is writing on Macy's Facebook wall, and it says, OMFG, you guys need to know your beauty box is messed up. You sent me a Merlot lipstick, and when I went back to order the full size, your webpage sold me a different color. It's not my fault. I didn't have the lipstick with me, and I relied on you to tell me what it was. Now I have the wrong lipstick. I had to go back to the store to return it, and I'm pissed off. I worked too many hours to have to deal with this crap. Hashtag day ruined. Hashtag beauty box canceled. Kayleen says, if it were me, I'd not only link to the correct product page, I'd include an add to cart button in the monthly box page. Kayleen, hired. This is one of the many reasons I platonically love you. Genius idea. I didn't have that. I was fighting so many stupid battles. I didn't even think of that. That's great. Kayleen says, saves the customer the step of going to the product page and avoids the customer getting to the product page and fearing the product page defaulted to the wrong color. Yep. Or we could have multiple choices. It could have been a call to action, primary call to action, order this one. Secondary call to action, order this in a different color. Maybe they liked the texture of the lipstick, but not the color. And then we can take them to the page. I love you too. Charlene says, by the way, I tried this unhappy customer journey and it works. And I thank Debbie for bringing it up. Thank you, Charlene. So this isn't over. So this is what I wrote. I wrote the moral of the journey. Set the customer up for success, happiness, and delight. Don't let them accidentally fail. If we can't default the product to the color we sent, we should at least tell the user which color we sent them in the hopes that they will choose the color from swatches. MVP doesn't mean let's put in the least effort we can. It means we should build the fastest version one we can build that is likely to prove this project is a winner. Make the company money, make the customer happy, make a strong first impression when we already have competitors doing well in this arena. This is a curated product. When someone curates it, have them take the extra few minutes to enter something in the database that ties the product specifics we sent. Manually create that relationship so that the what's in the box page can be smart enough to set people up for success and show them what we sent them. Don't assume they know the exact variation. Don't assume they remember. Don't assume they have the sample with them. Know that they are assuming that our what's in the box page is telling them the 100% whole truth on what's in the box. Set the customer up for success. Set the project up for success. Let's put in the extra manual data entry and developer time to show the customer the exact variation they got of each product. The project might be a great idea and a real moneymaker for us, but not if we give the customer a less than viable user experience. Execution of an idea is more important than the idea. So that's it. So basically, that's that. So let me flip back to a giant picture of me. Hello. Stephanie says, this is bad. It happened on Amazon to a friend who ordered a wrong 500 euro photo gear because the title was different than the product variation he selected. Ooh, similar. And Stephanie says he could send it back, but meh. Larry says, this would be a good addition to a book on task analysis and knowledge design if only such a book existed. I don't even know what graphic to put up with that. Larry and I are writing a book on this, y'all. Yeah, Larry, I can tell this story in the book, sure. Kayleen says, can't wait for the book, so I will buy it, maybe two. Yes, one for each eye. Okay, so actually, that's kind of my micro lesson. And so now let's talk about it and ask me any questions you have. That's the main time that I did this with a real situation that did go live, so I can talk about it. Macy's did release a beauty box subscription of the month, and I don't feel too badly about telling you that 5 years ago, 4 years ago, this was a battle I had with some people that I won. And here's how I won that battle. There are many battles that I lost, and now I want to sing Don't Dream It's Over. There's a battle ahead. Many battles are lost. Okay, so questions, thoughts. This might end up being a shorty because that's mostly what I wanted to say. When you have a battle that you want to pick, not a small battle, not, oh, might be a little bit better if the button were here. Oh, I wish this were a checkbox instead of a thing. When you have a battle you really want to pick and the people on your team who are not from UX are just not seeing the possible outcomes, which I find does happen a lot. People are like, no, the customer's going to figure it out. No, somehow the customers are really stupid idiots who never read anything but always manage to figure everything out. So when people are acting like, oh, the customer's going to figure it out, they'll get it right, and they only see the happy path, this is your opportunity to create, whether you like storyboarding or a customer journey map. I'm not tied to this being a customer journey map. This could be a Miro sticky note festival. This could be a cartooned storyboard. For me, it was just easy to type up a bunch of things in Axure and dump a bunch of screenshots in. I probably spent an hour or two on it, thinking about what I wanted to say. It's even got spelling mistakes. I didn't even spell check it. I was just like, holy cats, I need to talk these people out of this as soon as possible. Larry says, can this be done on every project as a way to illustrate how things can go wrong with an existing design? Hypothetically, I don't see why not. Y'all are welcome to use customer disaster journeys wherever you like. And again, in whatever format you like, whether it's a fancy customer journey or a simplified one as I showed, or whether it's a disaster user flow. Or I think with screenshots, this told the story better. I think if it were just a flow chart, I don't think it would have hit home with people as much. Kayleen says, I need this spelled out for me. How is this customer journey map more effective at communicating disaster than what you already said? Like, how can they not foresee this? I don't get it. Is it just the fact that it's visually laid out? Yeah, they really didn't see this possibility. And once I had a story, and the story included the outcomes of the outcomes. I mean, the outcome is the customer might order the wrong lipstick. And I think even when the product manager thought about that, they kind of thought like, so, so they'll return it, they'll exchange it, like, so what? But they didn't really, we talk about creating empathy, hashtag empathy. Where's my stars? Creating empathy. I was just trying to create sympathy. Like, I just wanted to create sympathy for a user who gets the wrong product and feels like they're hitting a lot of walls with trying to get help around that. Like, especially where customer support can't figure out what the problem is because you ordered Baby Kiss and you got Baby Kiss. How am I supposed to know you secretly wanted Merlot? So yes, I think it being visually laid out with some visuals, whether they were screenshots from websites, or in my case, I even put in some meme characters, as you saw with the lady with the "Can I speak to your manager" haircut. I think this helped tell the story. I exported it from Acture as an image and I sent it over. And within a few hours, I got back an email that said, oh my God, yes, this definitely could happen. Okay, we'll do what you're saying. I never checked if they did. Larry says, hey, I'm joining late. Larry, better to see you at all. Don't worry. Larry says, companies engage in wishful thinking. Yeah, and it's so easy to imagine the happy path. And we even see the happy path being taught in boot camps. Very rarely do I see any boot camp portfolio that says, and here's what happens when the customer gets an error message, or here's what happens if the customer doesn't know the answer. So much stuff in our boot camp portfolios and in a lot of our thinking and projects is what we call happy path. It's where everything just goes right. Customer loves the Merlot, buys the Merlot, Macy's made a sale. Charlene says, I would try to use it to prove a point where clients or stakeholders assume that they will know what users will do or what users want. Yeah, I think that's a good tip as well, that it's very possible where they could say, oh yeah, we know the users are going to do this. And then you map out, what if they didn't? Or what if there's 10, 20% of users who don't, and then what percentage of users that this could happen to do we decide we care? Do we care if it happens to 1% of our users? Do we care if it happens to 10% of our users? We care. So, luckily Macy's was the kind of company, because they were dealing in so many millions of dollars, they cared about when things were even 1%, because 1% could be millions of dollars for them. So it was usually easy, once you made a good point, to talk a good person into it. And these were decent people. They just hadn't considered this outcome and its ripple effects and shrapnel and other related things. Stephanie says, often when I tell people what could go wrong with their product, they say I'm exaggerating, that I just see the worst in people and I don't care. Any advice to help convince people? Try this. Try this, and just don't make it about, and I don't think you are making it about yourself or your opinion. I think we accidentally sometimes make it sound like, well, in my opinion, what if this happened? Mock up a customer disaster journey map and tell them, this could happen, or even if you have a sense of what percent of customers might run into it, even better, or hey, persona A and persona B are likely to do this. Here's what their journey could look like. Don't we want to account for that? And this is all part of, everyone say it after me, risk mitigation. Risk identification and mitigation. I'm trying to save Macy's from unnecessary risk, from the risk of having unhappy customers who spread the word of being unhappy, the risk of a project we have to fix and redo. So that's part of your risk mitigation. So I think this type of documentation is important. You can also add this documentation to the risk register or to your Confluence or whatever you're using, that we run the risk if we don't patch this hole. I've been telling people for over 20 years, I solve problems before they happen. And a lot of people are like, how? No, probably not. No. But to me, this is an example of solving a problem before it happens. And that's why in my book, I said that one of the things I think UX people need to be good at is seeing possible outcomes. I saw a possible outcome other people either didn't see or didn't want to imagine was particularly real, and I made it realistic for them with the disaster journey map. Larry says companies often don't realize their badge is upside down. Larry's got a story there. Yeah. So Larry says when he goes to conferences, he likes to wear his name badge upside down, and usually someone will say to him like, well, hey, your name badge is upside down, and he'll look down at it and go, well, it looks right to me. Aha. Byron says, good to see you, Byron, says, the narration style certainly helps visualize what's happening. Thank you. Maybe have a traveling drama club execute the disaster journey map. Oh my God. Yes. Well, if you saw my LinkedIn post the other day, my boyfriend came up with a fake band name for us, which I think could also be our fake drama troupe, Debbie and the Minimum Viable Players. Is that not just the best name ever? Is my boyfriend not the funniest man on the planet? He's giving himself slow clap, which I think you can hear because this microphone is so sensitive. Right. And now this will be acted out by Debbie and the Minimum Viable Players. Thank you, Byron. And Byron likes, I solve problems before they happen. I do, but how do you explain that to somebody other than something like this? And it's funny because I actually have another one in my portfolio where I tried to save Macy's from making a mistake and they wouldn't, and they did it anyway, and it was carnage. Bye, Kayleen. See you later. Charlene says, we should also design worst case scenarios, what can go wrong, and not just happy journey. Well, sure, hypothetically, when you're doing user flows, your user flow has to account for at least most possible outcomes. Not like, what if the earth cracks open and a dinosaur comes out? It's more like most possible outcomes. What if people get stuck at this step? What if people go this way? What if people whatever? The user flows should account for a lot of that, but the user flows don't create sympathy. They don't make people go, oh crap, yeah, what if someone didn't know their account number and we just gave them a brick wall and told them to call customer support? Yeah, that does suck. So you could draw a customer disaster journey map for that. Someone's trying to do something in their account. We ask them their account number. They don't know their account number. Now they're all mad. Now they have to stop what they're doing and call customer support. Thank you for the dinosaurs, Charlene. So I think that these are it's an interesting tool that I would use, not in every possible case, even though I think it's interesting to make these, but I have been using them and suggesting them for the last few years now, ever since I did this one, for trying to create a more compelling argument of what happens if we knowingly let something garbagey go. I went through this on other Macy's projects, though I did not use the customer disaster journey map. I went through this at least 2 more times on 2 different projects, and I do tell the stories from those from time to time, and I lost those battles. So maybe I should have been using the customer disaster journey maps on those too, because like Stephanie said, on one of them I was told I was dramatic and hysterical because I predicted a certain type of customer failure, and guess what? It happened exactly as I said. I get paid the same, everybody. I get paid the same whether your project is a success or a failure. Why don't we make it a success? Just a thought. Anyway, any other thoughts or questions on... Sorry, just looking at weird LinkedIn emails. Why, people, why? Any other thoughts or questions on customer disaster journey map? Again, if it's got another name out there, I don't know it. If someone's already doing and suggesting doing these, good for them. I don't know if this exists. I'm just calling this customer disaster journeys because I've seen customer journey maps show the as-is current state, and I've seen them show a dreamy utopia desired future state, but I've never seen them show a carnage disaster, here's where we mess it up for the customer because we didn't build a better system state. And scene. Thoughts, questions, comments? Emojis up. Who's going to try this on their current project or their next project if they find that teammates or stakeholders are just not seeing a likely possible future? Well, those are 20 or so second delay, so it's a little bit anticlimactic. I'm like waiting for the emojis. Larry, anything you would add here? Oh, Stephanie says devs have chaos engineering and no one tells those people they're being dramatic. Yeah, they also want to put 6 people on 8 weeks of work and no one says big engineering up front. Thank you, Sasha, for the thumbs up. I think it was that one. Or as my friend Eli says, thumbs up for cats. You would know Eli because he painted the 4 horsemen. Otherwise, you would not know Eli. You generally don't know my friends. Hey, any other thoughts? What ifs? Anything I can speak to while we're here? Otherwise, we'll wind it down. I don't love dead air. Dead air is boring, and I'm not monetizing this, so there's no reason for me to drag it out 4 more minutes so you see another ad. Actually, let me take a look at the calendar and tell you some of the shows that are coming up so that you can prepare. Of course, Friday is Reaction Stream. Oh yeah, I meant to also put this on the screen. Here we go. These are all the links you need to stay on top of your Delta CX world. Our upcoming events are giveaway, deltacx.link/giveaway. I'm going to do another signed copy hardcover of my book. Reaction for the reaction stream, ask for Ask Me Anything on Tuesdays, coaching if you need some coaching, private coaching, portfolio review, everyone gets one free. If you want another one, I charge you. HR training, send to recruiters and crappy jobs. And of course, I'm teaching Acture Live in December. So deltacx.link/Acture-Live will take you to the registration. It'll be a weekend, 2 full days, December 11 and 12, and it's only $75 US. So please sign up and tell people all about it. Now you know how to find the things. And thank you for people sending in reactions right now. Uver says, I'm going to try this. I've lost 3 battles by demonstrating or just narrating wire flows. Yeah, I can't guarantee this will work, but I think it's an interesting attempt to make it work. And again, you're trying to get people to sympathize with the customer, and you have to make the story sound likely. You can't make it sound so edge casey that it's like, and then a meteor hits the world, and then they lose their internet. You know, it's got to be somewhat likely so that people go, oh yeah, wait, that could happen. That's the reaction you want to get. Like, wait, that could happen. Oh no, then we'd have to deal with that and fix that, and that's a money loser, and ooh, nobody wants that. Uver says, Sasha says, I would love to see more example of your customer journey maps. Customer disaster journey maps, can you suggest great links? I can't suggest links because I might have made it up. If there's another person doing these, I don't know about it, or if there's someone doing these for another reason or this reason, I made this up, and so if someone else is doing it, I don't know about it, and that is the main example that I show. Uver says, do you think it helps to show a similar established product example in convincing product owners? I showed Sephora there only because I think when it comes to makeup, many people in America have shopped Sephora, which in America we say Sephora. I've learned that outside of America it seems to be Sephora, right? Sephora? What do you say? Sephora? Yep. That's like accent on the A? Yep. Wow. Well, we say Sephora because we're American. But so in the Macy's case, I showed an example of how Sephora, or however you pronounce them, is doing what I was hoping we would do. Not because I want to rip off the competition. I wanted to do this first, and then I said, wait a minute, how are other people doing it? And I started going around to competitors' websites. You know, how is Macy, well, we are Macy. We were Macy's. How is Sephora doing it? Or how is Ulta doing it? Or some of the other, but I was trying to, who had beauty boxes at the time? Because we were doing a lot of competitive analysis at Macy's. We had like ordered every American company's beauty sample subscription box. And so we saw their packaging and we saw what they send and we saw their websites. So in this case, I did have a competitor that I could reference, and I knew that the team cared about the competition and that they had their eye on the competition because the competitors were all well established and successful and considered to be successful. And we were a late entry into the market. So I did show the Sephora example in mine. But I do believe that even if I didn't have the competitor example in mind, I think I still would have made the point, and I think I still would have been relatively successful with convincing them that this was going to be a disastrous or negative customer experience. So does it help to show a similar established product example? The downside to showing an established product example is someone might just want to copy that guy. And that guy might not be doing it well, or they might not be doing it the way you want to do it. So just remember, you run the risk that if you do show a competitor, everybody just gets into copycat mode and they go, oh yeah, let's just do what they're doing. Now, in this case, that wouldn't have been too terrible for me because Sephora was doing what I thought we should do. And if they wanted to copy them, that would have been an upgrade in that sense. But I think that if you don't have an example of a competitor doing this, if you can still map out, and again, this is imagination and storytelling, if you can still imagine what that customer's journey looks like, and really, I mean, really, it's about diving into the 4 horsemen of bad UX, my registered trademark. Frustration, confusion, disappointment, and distraction. And if you think back to what I just showed you, or you roll back the video, I showed all the places where this person was going to be frustrated and have a bad time and have to call support, and support's not helping them. Now they have to go to the store. Confusion. I thought I was getting Merlot. What is this color? Disappointment. Disappointment at every step, really. I would imagine they were disappointed pretty much at every step at how they had to deal with Macy's, at the product they got, at having to go to social media just to get someone's attention. And then, of course, the last one is distraction. I don't think distraction comes into play here, but you can certainly see how the 4 horsemen of bad UX play into it. And I think that helps the storytelling. Remember, this is storytelling. So use that storytelling for your advantage. And that's what I would do. You know, if someone wants to give me an example, I will riff on a bad customer journey map. If anybody wants to give me an example, I may not do graphics, but but I could certainly do, I could riff on what the story might look like. Be a little, we got 15 minutes if anybody wants me to riff on one. Give me an example of a negative customer experience that you might have to convince your teammates is worth taking into consideration on the design. And I'll riff on it, but of course, optional. So I hope that helps. Sorry again, Sasha, that I didn't have an exact other examples. I don't think Charlene wants to show hers. But I told her about this technique and she tried it recently and it worked. So again, I can't say it will definitely work for you, but I do think it's a storytelling technique that can be effective and can be more effective than, well, I think we should make it do this. Well, that just sounds like your opinion. Let's look at it from the customer's perspective and create sympathy. I'm not going to try to create empathy, but I will try to create sympathy. Sympathy. I don't have a sympathy symbol or anything like that, but y'all get it. Let's take a moment real quickly and thank the people who donate here on the YouTube channel. We do have monthly memberships if you want to financially support the channel, which I spend on fun graphics for the show as well as chocolate chips. So thanks to our mid-level and higher low ego action heroes. If you're interested, you can just go to YouTube and press the join button or link, and that will take you to a paid subscription, totally optional. Very grateful to those who do, even at the lower levels. But thanks to Anita, Chang, Darren, Irena, Jordan, Michelle, Nikki, Ralitza, Ray, and Solomon for being our mid-level low ego action heroes and helping contribute to the channel. Yeah, because hashtag not sponsored. Any other thoughts, questions, examples? Stories before we wrap up. And I will check the calendar to remind you all what's coming next. Of course, reaction stream on Friday. Usually I don't stream on Thursdays, so reaction on Friday. Monday, I will be reading my Medium article and opening up a conversation with you, everybody who's there live about it, being feature-oriented versus task-oriented, which, Larry, I think someone should also put in their book about task analysis. Tuesday the 12th is Office Hours Ask Us Anything, and Darren and Dr. Nick will be there. I just confirmed it, so that's next Tuesday. Wednesday should be our Slack monthly networking adventure, so don't forget to join Slack and be part of that. Friday reaction stream. Monday the 18th, Larry Marine will be back for a micro lesson on knowledge design. This sounds a little bit like it could have benefited from knowledge design. Tuesday the 19th, double office hours, early and late. But note on Tuesday the 19th, I'm taking an evening course, my time. So office hours on Tuesday will be earlier. It will be 5 to 6 Italian time. That's 90 minutes earlier than usual, just on the 19th. Same for the reaction stream on Friday. I'm going to have to move that earlier too because of the course I'm taking. That'll be 5 p.m. Italy time. Later in October, we've got another panel on the 25th, the realities of UX work. So 3 UX peeps are going to talk about their jobs. Office hours on Tuesday the 26th. Wednesday the 27th. Yeah, I'm going to do a micro lesson on how I plan and manage projects. I got some requests for that, so I'm going to do that. Hopefully it's helpful. Friday the 29th is reaction stream, and holy cats, that's it for October. So, yeah. So if there aren't any other questions and the chat room is looking pretty quiet, then we can wind down for now. Thanks to everybody for joining. I will see everybody. Let's see, it is Wednesday, so no stream tomorrow. Maybe see you Friday. If you'd like to share this video with anybody, remember these are always archived on YouTube. This one will be in the micro lessons playlist. If it says micro lesson, it's in the micro lessons playlist. If it says office hours, it's in the office hours playlist. If it says Deb Reacts, it's in the Reacts playlist. And if it's got a number, it's in the live streamed podcasts playlist. So please share it with somebody you know and tell them to subscribe. It's free. So I will play us out of here. But thanks for everybody who joined in and chipped in. It was great to see everybody, and see you in a couple of days. Be well. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are